Chamber. My name is Matt O'Malley. I am the District 6 City Councilor and the Chair of the Council's Committee on Healthy Women, Families, and Communities. We are here today to discuss 6 grants which come under the Healthy Women, Families, and Communities Committee. These are various grants that we will hear about in great detail that will be administered by the Office of Food Access, the Age Strong Commission, formerly the Elderly Commission. I must say, Commissioner, I love the new name. Good. And the Office of Immigrant Advancement. Before we get into these specifics, as this will be 6 grants, we'll be discussing them all together, but we'll do them obviously and numerically. If you could all just introduce your name and your title before we get into the specifics. And welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. My name is Catarina Lopez. I am the Director of the Mayor Office of Food Access.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Emily Shea. I'm the Commissioner for the city's Age Strong Commission.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. My name is Agnes Chang, the Chief of Staff for the Mayor's Office for Immigrant Advancement.
Great, thank you. And we've been joined by my dear colleague and friend, the District 2 City Councilor from South Boston, South End, Bay Village, and Chinatown, Councilor Ed Flynn. Welcome, Councilor.
Thank you, Council.
Any opening statement? Perfect, thank you. That's why you're my favorite colleague. Okay, so I think we're going to start with Ms. Lopez on docket number 0109, which is $280,000 for the Double Up Food Bucks program awarded by the United States Department of Agriculture. So can you talk a little bit about that grant?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. We got granted $280,000 for a pilot program they called Boston Double Up program. That is a SNAP matching program to in corner store in low-income communities in the city of Boston, and we are piloting the program in Dorchester, Roseberry, and Mattapan. The money that we got through this grant is going to be used for matching portion. That is $150,000 of that. That means every time that a SNAP user go to a corner store that is part of our program, we match $1 to $1 to all the SNAP users that buy fruit and vegetables. And some part of the money they're going to be used for the evaluation for the 3 years of the program, and that will be $47,000 of that total amount. And we have $26,000 designed for help to the stores to make better stores. If they need a better refrigerator, if they need better signages, we will help them to do that. And we also have $25,000 assigned for outreach and education.
Okay, so this is $283,000 in sum total.
292.
Oh, 292.
I'm sorry, 282.
282.
Yes.
All right, we were rounding up.
I'm sorry about that.
$282,000. Of that, $150,000 will be matched dollar for dollar. So if I am currently receiving use SNAP to purchase groceries, my buying power will be doubled up to
$10 for day.
$10 for, I'm sorry?
A day.
A day?
Yeah, I mean, you can go to a corner store, buy $10, you will be just charged $5, and will be cover the other $5.
Oh, that's remarkable.
And you can do that every day, just like once a day.
For 365 days a year?
Yes.
Wow, that's fantastic. Are these just for Bostonians, or is this program in other cities and towns throughout the Commonwealth?
This program is in other cities across the state, but in Massachusetts, we are the one piloting this program.
Oh, so this is the pilot. That is great. So 150 of the 282, 150K is matching. $47,000 is for evaluation. So what is what does that mean? Is that staff costs?
We are partnering with Tufts University to see the impact of this program in the communities, because we want to know if this matching program actually change the behavior and the health of the communities. And they are doing surveys at the stores, they are doing surveys with the customers. We also want lift those corner stores, and they're going to evaluate that too. If actually this program at those corner stores make better businesses and they improve the businesses and bring more consumers to
That's
those.
great. That's great. So that's sort of support of the program and metrics of the program to hopefully grow it. The next $26,000 would be direct assistance to the stores, signage, refrigeration. I own a little bodega. I want to make sure that I've got up-to-date equipment so that I can keep and maintain fresh produce, for example.
Yes, and we are working with the small businesses development that are providing some technical assistance to these stores.
Correct.
And they go to the store, do an assessment, and they say like they need better accounting to
Yep.
make sure that we are tracking everything well, and we will provide some funds to improve those.
Yeah, that's great. And you're looping in the Main Streets directors as well?
We are working, yes.
Okay.
It's the person who is like our contact is a program manager. She's working with the main streets and the small businesses.
Fantastic. And then the remaining 25,000, that would just be general outreach to
The community
recipients?
to the communities to know where they are, also to decrease the stigma. I mean, like make it
Sure.
better for the SNAP users to be there and to incentivize them to use those SNAP dollars at the corner stores.
So is there, and if I'm a SNAP recipient, is there anything I have to do to opt in this program? Do I have to sign up, or just when I go, it'll be like saving money?
Yeah, we're trying to remove all the barriers the SNAP users have, and it's just you just go with your SNAP card and you just do your shopping.
Okay, I like that. Okay, that is great. Did you have any questions for Ms. Lopez? Ed, Councilor Flynn, excuse me.
Well, thank you. I don't have any questions. I just want to say thank you for the excellent work that you're doing in the city and representing the city well, but providing invaluable services to so many people that need our assistance. So I just want to say thank you to you and your team as well for providing compassionate assistance to the most needy in society. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Flynn.
Thank you. I don't have any other questions. That seems pretty straightforward. And this will be available in every neighborhood, I guess is my last question.
We have in the high needs neighborhoods for now.
Okay, so which neighborhoods are those?
There are Mattapan, Dorchester, and Roxbury because they have a high food insecurity rate in the city of Boston. And we are hoping that we can grow this and in some point like be in other neighborhoods, but now our focus of work there are those three.
So, and make sure I have this right, the money's connected with the card or with the store?
With the store.
So if you live in another neighborhood and you go to one of these stores in Mattapan, Roxbury, or Dorchester, you can benefit?
Yes.
Great. Okay, so that's a crucial point to make sure that it's open to everybody, but
It's
obviously
open to everyone, yeah.
the money's only allows us to start small. Okay, that's all I have for now. Thank you very much. Michelle, do I have to gavel out of every dog? No, okay, so you don't have to hear me bang the gavel every time. We're now moving on to Age Strong, the great Commissioner Emily Shea to discuss dockets 011, 0110, I should say, 0217, 0220, and 0335. First, docket number 0110 is a message and order authorizing the City of Boston to accept and expend the amount of $214,000 in the form of a grant for the Title III Ombudsman 2019 funds awarded by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, passed through the Mass Executive Office of Elderly Affairs, to be administered by Age Strong Boston. Did I have that right, Commissioner?
Yes, very
Okay,
good.
so tell us about it.
Sure. So all four of these dockets today are regular funding that we get in every year that we're coming here to ask permission to use. The Ombudsman program is a program where there are volunteers that are recruited and trained to provide support to people in nursing homes. So if residents of nursing homes are having any issues that they're dealing with, they can help to be a buffer between them and the administration of the nursing home, helping to mediate and solve problems that can arise. This program is actually throughout the entire country, paid for with Older Americans Act dollars. And in Boston, those dollars pass down through us. We then put the program out to bid, and our longstanding partner in this program is Ethos, who operates the program for the City of Boston. So that is what the request is for. That $214,000 number includes our last year amount plus a buffer of 25% in case we get an increase from the state. The way this funding works is we get a preliminary planning amount at the beginning of the year, And then we get a final allocation amount sometime towards the end of the year. And so numbers can change from the beginning to the end. The other piece that changes numbers for our older Americans Act dollars is that sometimes we have carryover dollars, and that takes a while to get approved by the Executive Office of Elder Affairs, so that comes in towards the end of the year as well.
Okay. So this would fund a salary?
So what happens is that we would put it out to bid, or we put it out to bid. Ethos won the bid. They're actually, you have to be certified to be an ombudsman. They're the only ones right now certified in the city of Boston to run that program.
So Ethos, I see, when you said Ethos administer, they administer the grant, meaning they go through the procurement process.
Running the program.
Did anyone else apply last time?
So no one
Yeah.
else applied last time, and you have to be kind of, as I said, of all the grants that we put out to bid, this one's very specialized,
Yeah.
and you have to kind of have a certification with the state in
Yeah.
order to run the
That's great.
program.
And Ethos does amazing work.
They-
Great District 6 nonprofit, serves people from all across the city, but particularly
do.
proud of their work.
And then what happens is Ethos then submits to us as the funder a scope of services saying this is exactly what we're going to do, and a budget, which we then approve, and then we monitor the program on a quarterly basis to make sure that things are going well.
That's great. And how long have we been, how long has this partnership with Ethos
Oh,
been?
my goodness, a long time.
Predates both of us,
Probably
Kamish, I
Probably
bet.
30 plus years.
Wow,
would
that
be
is
my
great.
guess.
That is great. And we're very grateful to Dale Mitchell from Ethos, who, is retiring himself soon, and he will
Correct.
be very missed, but has been a great partner to this city.
Yeah, so I should just say this money is all passed through for us.
Okay, great. Thank you. I have no further questions for docket 0110. Councilor Flynn?
Well, thank you, Councilor, and thank you, Commissioner, for being here and for your work and your staff's work for so many years, providing our elderly, our seniors with the respect and dignity that they've earned. I've always had great respect for this department. I've followed it closely for probably 30 or 40 years, and I've seen excellent commissioners over the years. And Commissioner, I think you're one of the best we've ever had, the way you treat people and the way you treat our elderly. So I just want to say thank you for your outstanding work, and continue working hard for the seniors of Boston. So we're proud of you.
Thank you, Councilor, I appreciate that.
Thank you.
And I would second that emotion, Commissioner. We have been, I think I've got only a couple months longer than you working here, but you've been a terrific partner, and one of the finest commissioners we've had. But we're not done with you yet. We have
No.
3 more. So docket 0217, a message and order authorizing the City of Boston to accept and expend the amount of $1,056,840 in the form of a grant from the Council on Aging Formula Grant Program awarded by the Mass Executive Office of Elder Affairs to be administered by the Age Strong Commission. Can you tell us about
Yes.
docket 0217, please?
Sure. So this is the money that comes to us because we have the designation of being Boston's Council on Aging. Councils on Aging are all municipal, so 350 out of 351 towns across the state have a Council on Aging.
Which town doesn't?
Oh, I know this. It's a very tiny one.
Yeah.
I'll get back to you.
Probably like Gosnold or Cummington or one of those
It's
small.
way
Yeah,
up
Western Mass.
there.
Okay.
Yeah.
More curious than anything else.
Yeah, it's a very tiny town.
Okay.
So the money comes in the form of a formula grant. So and the formula grant is set by state budget. So currently, the formula grant is $12 per elder per year, based on the 2010 census data. So in 2010, we had 88,070 people over 60 in the city.
I'm sorry, say that number again?
88,070
Okay.
people over 60 in the 2010 census. So they take that number and they multiply it by 12 to get our formula amount. So that's what this represents. This money we keep internally. It allows us to do many of the things that we do out in the community. So for example, we have community service advocates that are assigned to each neighborhood. They're doing things like helping people with their Medicare through the SHINE program, helping people access information and resources, doing benefits applications, going out and meeting older adults and caregivers where they're at and helping them figure out how to get assistance. They are paid for partially out of this money. A big portion of their salary is paid for out of this money. We also have our housing team that's paid for primarily out of Council on Aging dollars. So as we've gotten some increases over the last couple of years in Council on Aging, we've been able to develop a housing team of 5 people. One of those people is paid for out of operating budget, and we really appreciate the council for that addition last year in our operating budget. But the rest of the team is paid for out of Council on Aging dollars. We also pay for Boston Seniority Magazine out of this money. So the magazine that helps get information and resources out to people throughout the community. We print 15,000 copies of the magazine every month and have an online following of over 1,000 people.
Correct.
And that is all done out of Council on Aging money. Another big thing we do out of Council on Aging money is if we have salary savings towards the end of the year, then we have been using those dollars to pay for accessible vehicles for our senior shuttle. So it is our goal to replace all of our shuttles that are not accessible with shuttles that have a lift and a lower step so that people can get more easily on them. We are about 70% of the way through our fleet now, thanks in large part to Council on Aging dollars. So we do a lot of different things. This is one of our most flexible pots of money, which makes it a great resource for us.
No, that's fantastic. 88,070 Bostonians that are 60 plus as of 2010.
Yes.
Any guess of what that number is going to be at the 2020 census? Significantly
It's going
more.
to be significantly different. The last data I have is from 2017, and the
Yeah.
estimate at that point was close to 105,000.
Yeah, I can think of two people I'm quite close to who were not 60 plus in 2010, but certainly are now. So it's now, yeah, I would venture a guess that we get even closer to 120, just as the city grows and more people stay and age in place. In which neighborhood has the highest percentage of seniors?
Oh, you know the answer to this, Counselor. It's West Roxbury.
I believe it's about a quarter, close to a quarter of all West Roxbury residents.
Yeah, 25%.
Yeah, it's remarkable. I think we should lobby our friends at the State House of upping that $12 per senior figure, though. That seems kind of low, right?
It's,
I won't put you on the spot. Eddie and I can do that lobbying, but anything we can do for our seniors. But that's great. Okay, so housing, senior shuttles, it's Boston Seniority, which I look forward to reading, and like just so many great programs. Okay, that's great. I have no further questions on docket 217. Councilor Flynn?
No.
The best, all right. Now, docket 0220, a message and order authorizing the City of Boston to accept and expend the amount of $1,860,000 in the form of a grant for the FY19 State Elder Lunch Program awarded by the Mass Executive Office of Elder Affairs to be administered by Age Strong Boston.
Yes, so
You're
this
up.
is, again, this is pass-through money for us.
Okay.
This is state dollars, and the number that you see is the amount of last year's grant plus a buffer in case the amount changes before the end of the year, so that we don't have to come back in here to you. This money helps to fund the nutrition program in the city of Boston. So this is another program that we put out to bid. We have two grantees that operate this program in the city. One is Ethos, and the second one is the Chinese Golden Age Center. And together, they are doing both home-delivered meals, so if there's an older adult in the city who cannot get out and who needs a home-delivered meal. They're providing that meal to them, bringing it to their door. They also are operating a total of 47 cafes or congregate meal sites across the city where people over 60 can come and get a meal for free with a suggested donation of $2. And so this is a very important program in our city. These are all pass-through dollars for us, so we don't keep any of it, we pass it through. And it's one of the 3 components of nutrition funding that come to our office, and then we give out to people, to Ethos and Central,
Chinese Golden Age Center. And what's the split of Ethos? I assume Ethos probably caters to more seniors than Chinese Golden Age Center?
Yeah, so Chinese Golden Age Center does primarily around the Chinatown area, I would say, but their contract is for Chinese meals throughout the city. So they do deliver home-delivered meals more broadly. Their cafes that they run are primarily centered around the Chinatown downtown area.
That's great.
And then Ethos covers the rest of the city.
So is it like a 80-20 split, 90-10? Any clue?
I didn't bring those numbers, but it's I can get them.
Just
for
more
you.
curious. Yeah, if you could let us know before we take action next week. Really more curious than anything else. And this money also helps provide some of those wonderful culturally appropriate dining centers. I know that they do
Correct.
specific food. They do an LGBT sort of cafe for older adults. So talk a little bit about that. I think
Sure. So there's all different types of dining centers. They run different times of the week. Some run in the evening. Some run on the weekends. Really trying to meet the needs of the community. We now have 5, I believe, LGBT-friendly lunch sites that Ethos runs, which are really fantastic sites. Lunch, dinner, weekends. They spread the gamut there. We have our Chinese sites, and then we have other sites where our nutrition vendors, Ethos contracts with vendors like City Fresh and Fair Foods, Emily's Fair Foods. So those vendors are able to do more culturally specific meals, and some of those are served at the lunch sites, depending on the neighborhood and the population that's there.
great. Now, Commissioner, I do have to, I'm compelled to ask you some really tough questions too at this hearing, so here goes. I know you visited many of these sites. What is your favorite cafe to go to? You have to answer
I
it.
am not answering that, Counselor. They're
Fair
all
enough.
good sites.
Fair enough.
They're all good sites, and they're all unique, depending on who goes there and what other things they're doing at the site.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Sounds great. Councilor Flynn?
Thank you, Council O'Malley, and I just wanted to add, frequently I do go to the Chinese Golden Age Center, and I have an opportunity to talk with the residents that are having lunch there. And I can tell you from firsthand experience that the lunches are excellent, it's prepared well, and seeing the enjoyment from my constituents, but from everyone's constituents really, how important a nutritional lunch is very compassionate, is very good for our city, it's very good for our elderly community, and so I know they appreciate all your efforts and hard work, and it's a great program, and I'll be glad to support this and all your programs as well. But thank you, Commissioner.
And I just have one, thank you, Councilor Flynn, one final question on docket 0220. We had explained, or I don't know if we did it while we were recording, so I'll do it now, that 2 of the figures are different than originally listed. The first was docket 0335 was publicly noticed as $171,242. It actually was $214,000, and I believe that's reflecting the buffer of 25%.
That's docket 110, yes.
I'm sorry, you're right. That's docket 10. So that's the buffer. This one was docket 0220 was originally noticed or publicly noticed at $124,242. $263.36. It's actually $1.8 million. So why such a large discrepancy?
So our amount, so I'm not exactly sure how the 124,000 got in there. We're working on figuring that out. Our amount from last year is around, very close to 1.5 million.
Okay.
So it's 1.5 million plus a small buffer in case we put a 25% buffer on in case things change towards the end of the year.
Okay, so
Obviously,
this
we'll
seems
only-
to be that it was a clerical error. Wait, what did you say it was last year?
It was, you want the exact amount?
Yeah,
1,488,127.68.
okay. So I'd wondered if maybe a figure, if it was 1.24 million, if a figure had dropped off, but suffice
Yeah.
it to say, there was the first one the first numerical error between what was posted and what we will vote on was because it didn't account the 25% sort of contingency. This one, it seems there was an error in the posting, so we just, on the record, want to acknowledge that, and we will be voting on this docket, which is the full amount, $1,056,840. Nope, $1,860,000, docket 22, all these dockets, so maybe that's the issue.
Thank you.
$1,860,000 even is what docket 0220's correct amount is.
Yes,
Okay.
and of course, we'll spend up to our contracted amount.
Correct. And if we don't hit the buffer, do we get to keep it, or does it have to go back?
If we don't get up to the buffer.
Yeah.
Well, if we don't get up to the buffer, if we get beyond the buffer, we'll have to come back to you.
I see.
But what we'll spend is exactly what our contracted amount is.
Exactly, good. Okay, finally for Age Strong, docket 0335, a message and order authorizing the City of Boston to accept and expend the amount of $400,000 in the form of a grant for the Nutrition Services Incentive Program awarded by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services passed through the Mass Executive Office of Elderly Affairs to be administered by Age Strong Boston.
Yes, so this is actually very similar to the State Elder Lunch Program that we just talked about, except that it is a federal source of nutrition funding. The Nutrition Services Incentive Program comes to us through the federal government, and this is, again, is a pass-through grant to us, a pass-through grant for us. It is one of the 3 sources of nutrition funding that kind of combine together to make the full package.
Okay. And who is our vendor with this? Is it Ethos again?
So we go out to bid for the entire program.
Yep.
Even though we're voting on
I
specific
see.
funding sources, we go out to bid for the whole
I
program.
see. And has this figure been consistent, less or greater in your time?
So we didn't even put a buffer on this because this really never goes up.
I see.
This is like, this has been
This is
level
it.
funded for a significantly long time.
Okay. And is this, so when you hear about federal cuts being proposed to Meals on Wheels, for example, is that how we feel it with this? Would this money be used for, I assume, the delivery service like Meals on Wheels?
This money is used for Meals on Wheels. It's one of the smaller portions of our funding.
I see.
And it's been relatively stable and hasn't really gone up or
Okay.
down for
Well,
a long time.
Okay, it's good it's not going down.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions on this one? All right, thank you, Councilor Flynn. Thank you, Commissioner Shea. We are done with you. Finally, Ms. Chang, we've got docket number 0336, a message and order authorizing the City of Boston to accept and expend the amount of $200,000 even in the form of a grant for the Immigrant Advancement Initiative awarded by the donor group to be administered by the Office of Immigrant Advancement. Welcome. Tell us a little bit about docket 336.
Sure. This is a flexible pool of money that we raised from the We Are Boston Gala, and really allows our office to support many of the grassroots, and I meant grassroots, immigrant-led, immigrant-served organizations in the city of Boston to expand their program capacity to serve, the diverse communities in the city, and then also to support some of the programming that are kind of not that some of the other small organizations are providing, direct services that they're providing to the immigrant communities all over the city of Boston.
Great. So this is the money that was raised at the We Are Boston Gala?
Correct, yes.
And the donor group, is that an actual group, or is that the way that we're talking about everyone who's
it's all
donated?
different.
By the donors, okay.
Contributors and supporters of our office. So many of them are the corporate leaders. They're also some of the community leaders
Excellent.
From the city and beyond as well.
And it's always a wonderful event and does
Thank you.
particularly important work in sort of this time in our country.
Yes.
I have been so impressed with your leadership, with your colleagues' leadership, certainly with Mayor Walsh's leadership and commitment that I know I share, Councilor Flynn shares, all members of this body share, that we need to be doing more to make sure that our immigrants, all of whom our families were immigrants, most of whom were immigrants to this country at one point, and making sure that all Bostonians, whether they were born here, whether they were born elsewhere, whether they're documented, whether they're undocumented, know that we see them, we value them, and we're going to protect them. So I really appreciate the crucial work you're doing. 4 years ago, I don't think we appreciated the gravity of having an office. I believe it was called Office of New Bostonians.
Correct.
When I first joined joined the council, and I really appreciate Mayor Menino too, former Mayor Menino, for sort of seeing that, and certainly Mayor Walsh for his continued leadership, and yours as well, Ms. Chang. So this is, all of these grants are no-brainers. We will be voting favorably for them, but I really appreciate the work that you're all doing, and maybe the added necessity of the importance of the work that you're all doing in this day and age. So I have no further questions for you. Councilor
Thank you.
Flynn?
Thank you, Councilor O'Malley, and thank you for being here, and thank you for your great work on behalf of our immigrant community here in Boston. I'll be very brief, but I want to echo what Councilor O'Malley said. I'm also proud to represent a large immigrant population community here in District 2, including a large Chinese community. I'm proud to represent them, but more importantly, I'm proud of their outstanding contributions that they've made to our city and into our country. I'm working with the City of Boston Department of Public Health on a forum in Chinatown on public health related issues sometime over the next 2 or 3 months, and we just want to provide as much information as we can to the Chinatown community about what services are available to them, and how they can access various services, various programs. So I'll keep your office informed about this event, and I know we're working with Commissioner Shea as well, and other city departments, but maybe over the next couple of weeks, if you have some time, I can provide a better update on what we're looking at. But just want to say thank you for your outstanding work, and always ensuring that our immigrant community is treated with respect and treated with dignity. And as Matt mentioned, we're also proud of Mayor Walsh for the welcoming city that Boston is to our immigrant community. So we just wanted to tell you and your staff that we're proud of you.
Thank you, Councilor Flynn and Councilor O'Malley. We really appreciate your support, especially like you said, at this time in the national climate. It's been challenging for my team. They're here, 2 of them are here, but we continue on with your support and with the mayor's support. So really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you all. I have no further comments. Did any of you have any closing remarks? Speak now or forever hold your peace. This is a public hearing. If anyone would like to testify, they are welcome to do so. I see no takers. Once again, I appreciate this. For those who may be watching this at home, that one of the most important oversight roles of the council is to discuss every penny that is spent through the city's coffers, and We often have these grants that are obviously uncontroversial, but I really value the opportunity to have a hearing like this to hear more of the granular detail of what you all are doing, what your teams are doing, and what we as a city are doing. So at the next council meeting, I will be favorably reporting on dockets 0109, 0110, 0217, 0220, as well as 0335. Did I hit them all, Michelle? Okay, so this hearing is hereby adjourned. Thank you all. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.